Hi, so good to be here today. I'm really happy because I have someone very, very special to me who's going to be uh, joining me. It's Megan Fox, and I'm just thankful that she's given me this opportunity to have a chat with me. We're going to talk about anxiety, so I'm just waiting for her to come on board, and we're going to be talking very soon now. All right. Okay. We're just waiting to create this. Okay, it's my first time doing this. I appreciate your patience with me. There we go. Okay. Hi, Megan.
Hi.
I'm so happy we finally were able to do this. It's my first time.
No, too for terrible technology, but we did it.
We did it. Yes. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to sit and talk to you and everyone about anxiety, which has been such a big thing in the last several months, right?
Yeah, that I was explaining before I got on with you when I was on my page, um, that I think people in general have been struggling with anxiety for a long time, and one of my reasons that I think that is because of the overuse of technology, and we were already feeling disconnected from each other, disconnected from the earth, and then obviously when the pandemic hit and everything started shutting down, and we've all literally been isolated, that's really exacerbated those issues, and I'm sure a lot of people don't really know how to solve it because honestly, being locked up and world closed, um, it emphasizes the use of technology and sitting on your phone all the time and TV and just the general disconnect with nature and with other people. And so it's hard. I don't know if people know what to do or have
Yeah.
any idea like how to help themselves.
Yeah. So everything you're saying is really true. And this year, the anxiety has really come up and much more exaggerated for us. So I want to make a couple points. We're feeling two forms of anxiety. One is the energetic global anxiety, right? That we're feeling from just the chaos, chaotic energy, the turbulence, all the horrible stuff that's on the news all the time. This is an energy. And we as people feed off of each other's energy. Just like when we go to nature, we hug a tree, we feel so much better, right? The same goes if we see or feel something negative, it subconsciously affects us. And what happens after a long period of time, our body gets overwhelmed, bombarded, and we want to shut down. And we just want to not feel any of these things. So that's one anxiety. The other form of anxiety is because there has been this shutdown period, because our lives have changed, we have been forced to go inward. We have been forced to spend a lot of time alone or not doing the things that usually distract us. Now, in this way, what I want to say is we have to allow this form of anxiety because it's guiding us back to us. When we have a hard time sitting by ourselves, when we are restless just being by ourselves or walking in nature, that means there's something within our core that we haven't paid attention to. So these are the two forms of anxiety. And I feel anxiety can be our friend. And that's what I want to say. I don't want people to feel so weird if they're having anxiety because it's a normal human emotion. But why anxiety can be our friend is because it can lead us and guide us back to us and the truth of us and what we need to look at, whether it's in our environment or within ourselves. And it's then up to us to see how we want to cope with it. Do I want to disengage from the news? Do I want to allow more nature time? Do I want to change my relationships with some of the people in my life? How is it that I wish to be in my own life? How do I wish to show up in my own life? So when anxiety comes, rather than saying, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out, what's this? I would say, sit with it for about 10, 15 seconds and say, bring it on. Let me feel it. And then ask it, what are you trying to tell me? What is it that's making me uneasy? Is it something outside of me, or is it something inside of me? And then I can give a couple techniques that I think really can help. And I know you do, I think you do these techniques. One of them is breathing, right?
Yeah, I had so much anxiety. This was a like transitional anxiety where I had to do a table read for a very prominent director and very acclaimed actors, and I was like, I cannot do this. I'm gonna have like a brain aneurysm. I'm gonna throw up. I can't do it. I can't do it. And so you gave me some tips of literally just how to still myself to get through, you know, that day, which I literally didn't think I was going to be able to pull off. So those were breathing exercises and a way to like focus the mind and come to a center. So I don't know if that's what you're about to explain.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit like that. So what I wanted to say is when you did that, when you did those exercises, I think it also empowers you, right? Because you understand that there are tools now that you can just access at any time that can make you feel calm. One of the things I want to say is a 1-minute breathing exercise, and it's only 1 minute. And what happens is when the anxiety comes, it usually manifests in either shortness of breath, nausea, like we're going to throw up, or I'm shivering, or I'm cold, or I'm really hot, or I feel, some people say they feel lightheaded. So those are some of the manifestations of anxiety, heart palpitation. So when we do feel that, the 1-minute exercises, we just take a breath in for like 4 seconds, and we release the breath. And it doesn't matter if you're breathing through the nose or mouth, and we can just do it. And we do it again. And then we do it for 8 seconds. So we take 8 seconds to take the breath in. We hold the breath for a few seconds here. And we release the breath. We do it again. And we release the breath. And then we go to 12 counts. And we breathe in 12 counts. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We hold the breath very comfortably, no pressure, and we let it out. What happens is when we do this 2 times, it's probably less than a minute, slowly serotonin starts being produced in our brain, and it starts making us calm. I already feel calmer, so it makes us feel more calm. Another really simple exercise is when we have anxiety, we're like chaotic, right? Our mind is chaotic. We're thinking of the worst scenarios. We're thinking of the worst possibilities. We're not thinking of the real possibilities. We're thinking of the worst possibilities. So what I recommend is staring at something or having a dot on your hand. The dot, you know, I used to use that so much. Yeah, there you go. A dot on the hand. And what you do is, like when you're anxious, you just look at the dot for like 10 seconds, and then you turn your face away and you look at somewhere else for 10 seconds, 1 point. Then you come back at the dot again, and you look at it 10 seconds, and then you look at somewhere else for 10 seconds. What this does, it brings the mind into focus. This exercise is, again, maybe 40, 50 seconds. These 2 exercises are free. They can be done anywhere, anytime, on the plane, while you're walking, you're somewhere. Just don't do it while you're driving. You can do the breathing and just breathe, but don't look at a dot when you're driving. And I think we have the tools. If we learn the tools, they're really easy to create a more calm state. I mean, we can't control what's going on the outside. We can, though, take a hold of our own inner reactions so we don't react as strong, but in a way, embrace and respond, you know? So the reaction is something's going on, I get a phone call, and my immediate reaction is, oh my God, oh my God. That's the first reaction. But if I'm in a calmer state, my first response will be, okay, maybe a smaller breath. This is making me uncomfortable. What does it mean to me? And I think at this time in our world, we have that opportunity. Just like we have a lot of difficult things, we have this really positive thing, is the opportunity to connect inside. And through our anxiety, understand what is it that makes me feel not good, not centered? What is it that I don't feel confident in myself? Is it a lack of self-love? Is it that I don't believe in myself, or I don't believe in the universe, or what is it? So I would allow it, embrace it, and then see how I can let it flow and find its way, rather than saying, oh, I have to release it. Let it find its way.
Yeah. And then I feel like it's something that when you practice it more regularly, your anxiety naturally reduces in, like, you won't be dealing with the same levels of anxiety if you practice like mindful breathing every day.
Exactly. So I had so much anxiety when I was younger, and when I learned about this, I used to do it several times a day when my anxiety was heightened. And then it slowly became lower, and I still practice it at times where I feel the anxiety coming on. But it's a reconditioning. We're not used to taking care of ourselves. We're not used to giving to ourselves. We're not used to nurturing ourselves. And this is a mindful practice. It's like, I'm going to take care of me. I'm important to me. And I want to live a life that I can be more calm and more happy and more centered, so I can do the things I want to do. And I think once we learn that, we learn to value also ourselves too. So yes, it's a practice to do it every day. And if you want to do it 2-3 times a day, do it in the middle of the day, or in the morning, or in the evening, or all 3 times. And it just starts with that. And just for us to reset our mind that, no, anxiety is not there to be my enemy. It's there to guide me back to me. I think that's the very big key. Not to fear the fear, but allow the fear.
Yeah. And to let it pass through you too is something that you've helped me with, like to observe it as an emotion, but understand that you are not your emotions. Your emotions are transient. They will come and they will go. And so observe the fear and then let it move, let it go.
Yeah, we are not, we have learned these things, right? Through disappointments, through heartaches, we have become more anxious. By doing things we don't like, we become more anxious, right? By being in relationships that we are not honored and we're not valued, we become more anxious. We get claustrophobic. So yeah, it's about understanding we are not that emotion. We are not the anger, we're not the anxiety, we're not the jealousy. I believe we are really the goodness. And we have experienced these, so these are now new emotions that come on us. But what you shouldn't be attached to that emotion and say, Mitra, I'm just such an anxious person. No, you're not an anxious person. You have learned to take on anxiety. So now let's learn how to embrace the anxiety and slowly allow it to flow through us and be released, so we can come to a new platform, a new confidence of being. And let me tell you, if people who have fear of flying and fear of surgery and so many things can overcome their anxiety and really embrace it, and then really do so well with those things, we each can do that. I know some people who may be logging on now are thinking, oh, Mitra, but you don't understand, my anxiety is really bad. And I'm going to say, one day at a time. Take baby steps. Start with the smaller anxieties, the smaller things. Don't go with the big ones. Like if you have a fear of heights, don't go bungee jumping right now. Do the small ones. Usually people who get anxious about many different things. It's not one thing. So let's do the small ones. Like if you have a fear of, for example, driving, okay, first drive in the streets next to your house. If you have a fear of being in a relationship, okay, slowly maybe start being in a friendship first with somebody and allow someone to enter your life. So it's about taking baby steps. I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't? Oh no. I hope my phone is actually
No, now we're good. Now we're good. Yeah.
Yeah, so that you've helped me a lot with that. My form of anxiety, like when it manifests, I'm a person that gets the shaking, where like my whole I can feel my heart like vibrating in my chest and my lungs don't get enough air, and so it's really obvious when I have anxiety because I have to use my voice at work, obviously, and you can hear in my voice that my voice is weak and I'm shaking, and so these are things that I've really had to work on when I'm nervous, like especially having to do like an award show or go in front of a lot of people live, which is when that comes up for me. And it's been really helpful. And, I think it is a good way to start, like picking something small and getting comfortable doing it. And then it'll naturally sort of integrate itself into your life in other ways and become easier. And once you see the result too, you become excited. You're like, wow, that actually did work for me. So I have something I can believe in, and it is a tool. It is like you have these steps that you can take so you don't feel so lost and so overwhelmed. You're like, okay, I know if this happens to me, I can do these 3 things and it's going to help to some degree. So it gives you confidence then every time you enter into a new situation where you do feel that anxiety.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, I will tell you, during a period of my life in my 30s, I had a lot of changes. In one year, I had to move 11 times. And that all of a sudden, every change became to me subconsciously that I'm going to right now be, everything's going to be out of control again. So every time there was a small, even such a thing as a trip, I thought, oh, I'm going to lose my home. And that gave me so much anxiety. And I want people to understand that there's a reason we get anxiety. It's usually because something has triggered our self-belief or our self-love. And we feel on some level that we're not worthy or capable of it. It comes down to that, which we can talk about. That's a whole different subject. But anxiety can be healed. Anxiety is normal part of human emotion. I don't want anyone to feel, oh, they're so weird or abnormal by having anxiety. It's very natural to have anxiety in our world right now. I mean, even if you're doing well, you turn on the news and you get anxiety. You get concerned about the world. You see all the violence, everything. You see the disconnect. All of this gives us anxiety. But how do we not attach ourselves to anxiety, and detach ourselves, but yet let it help us to find our own inner calm and inner confidence. One day at a time, and one step and one breath at a time.
Awesome. Are we good, Mitra? I don't know how to end.
Good. Yeah, this is great. Thank you so much. And thank you for giving me this opportunity. It's just wonderful to be able to come and share with you.
I again don't know how this works, but like I'm pretty sure you can send in like requests or tell us what it is that you are struggling with, or things, topics that you would like to talk about, or things you're wondering about. And then we can always come back and address it for you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thanks, Megan. Thanks, Madison. Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.